Hi everyone, I am Dr. Sivadas Madhavan, Associate Professor and Research Guide in Wolaita Soda University, Ethiopia. The other day I started with Introduction to Research, and today I am going to talk about the definitions of research. I told you the other day that we have to look into the history and the language of something to understand it very well. So here in the case of research, when we go back, we go to the invention of wheels by the Sumerians in 3500 BC. So it was in Mesopotamia that they started using wheels. Wheels were the base of all the later inventions. And in 3200 BC, the Sumerians started written language and they started writing. And in 3000 BC, languages developed. And in 2500 BC, the Egyptians started making paper. They started using papyrus to make paper and started using paper. And much later, in 1450, that is almost 450 years ago, people started printing. So using paper and printing technique made bookmaking very easy and fast. And in 16th century, that is at the end of Renaissance, Renaissance is the movement started in Europe in 14th, 15th and 16th centuries. And in 16th century, so in 16th century, to be precise, in 1577, the term research was used. Actually, Renaissance was the movement to revive art, literature, culture, education, etc. Exactly in the classical model. So in Europe, Renaissance was a reawakening in education, culture, art, etc. So there they started studying very intensely. So research started in 16th century. And after that, so many researchers started. Formal research, that is formal academic research started in 16th century. But so many inventions were not good for human beings also. All the inventions are not good for people. For example, we know that gunpowder invention changed the warfare, and political changes took place in many countries. And people have to use it carefully. Now we know that the superpowers in the world sometimes go out of control. Now the war between Russia and Ukraine is an example for that. So anyhow, the result of the investigation, a result of the search, and a result of the inquiry gives us the product, the outcome, the final outcome, and that is the research. When we find out something, that is research. And a research starts with a question. For example, the best definition for me, I think, Creswell in 2002 said, research is collecting, analyzing and interpreting data and writing the results. That is true. So it is collecting, analyzing and interpreting data and writing the results. That is research according to Creswell. And there is another definition which is equally interesting. That is, research is an inquiry to explore an idea, to probe an issue, to solve a problem, or make an argument that compels us to turn to outside help. So to solve the problem, or to make an argument, or to probe an issue, or to explore an idea, we need external help. Some help from outside is necessary to complete the research. If a person alone, if the researcher alone can complete the research, that is not a research. If he knows the answer, then there is no need of conducting any research. So research begins with a question and ends with an answer to that question. And there are so many other definitions also. Another definition is research is a systematic investigation into and study of materials and sources in order to find facts and new conclusions. So to find facts and new conclusions, it's an investigation into materials and sources, and we come to the conclusions, new conclusions or facts. So we are going to establish new facts or we are going to find out new conclusions. That is also correct. So there are different definitions, and these definitions do not have a complete feature of the research. That's why most of the time people say that defining research is just like a blind man defines the elephant. That's why I have given the picture of an elephant on the side of my PowerPoint slide. If a blind man sees the elephant, if he touches its trunk, he will say it's like a big snake. If he touches the leg of the elephant, he will say it's like a tree. If he touches the tail of the elephant, he will say that it is like a broom. If he touches the side of the elephant, he will say that it is like a wall. So that means a blind man cannot define a huge animal. And we are also like that. We are like a blind man who looks at a huge animal called research. So for research, there are different types of research, and there are different methods of research, and we will come to that later. So the point is, research begins with a question and ends with an answer. And the researcher collects, analyzes, and interprets the data and writes the report. So in short, that is the simplest way of telling what the research is. So these are the most prominent definitions. There are so many other definitions by so many other scholars. So I don't go into that. So this is the simplest way of introducing the definitions of research. That's all for today, and I hope you will subscribe the videos and send me the comments. Your comments are very valuable to me. Thank you very much. See you next time.